This is the week that we've been waiting for in Texas high school football in the area. After all this realignment shuffling and everything and this District of Doom, this is the week that we've been waiting for. It's Carroll-Trinity, but we also have Bowie and Martin coming up this week. With Ryan Osborne, I'm Travis Brown. Welcome to the High School Huddle. We have some serious games to break down this week, and we'll get right into those right after we get to our epic moment. Sam Houston's 21-20 win over Arlington, I think that solidified their spot as a playoff team in that district.
Yeah, they're 1-2 now, but they got past Bowie and Martin. They nearly beat Bowie 2 weeks ago. So yes, they're in that position to take that fourth playoff spot behind Bowie, Martin, and Lamar if things go as planned. I mean, that district right now is a little bit more full of parity than it usually is. Usually it's Bowie and Martin at the top and then Lamar a solid third. Now I think there could be some shuffling around as the season goes on. But Sam Houston, they needed that win over Arlington. That was essentially for that fourth playoff spot. Now they just had to take care of business against North Crowley, Pascal, and Weatherford, which those teams have actually played better than what we've seen from them. But I think Sam Houston has also played better than what we're accustomed to. They have some skill players on offense. Irvin Hill at quarterback, Darion Flowers, a TCU commit. They should be able to finish, have a solid finish to the season and get a win this week against Pascal.
Well, with the magnitude of these two games we have this week, we're going to give that a little bit of extended time, and we'll start with Euless Trinity and Southlake Carroll, a game that we'll both be at this week.
Yeah, the first regular season matchup ever between these two teams. They were moved to the 7-6A along with Coppell after last February's realignment, and it's even bigger than I guess probably you could expect, if that's even possible, because these two teams are undefeated. Carroll has beaten Coppell. Trinity has played some pretty close games so far this season, but they also have dominated in district play. They've only given up 3 points, and it's going to be the spread offense versus the power run that Trinity has. I want to say it's hard for any team to match up with Trinity's size. Carroll's playing at home. I'm going to give the edge to Trinity. I think they could slow this game down and control the clock. I think they're starting to hit that peak form that we see them in the playoffs. I think Trinity will win, but it's going to be close, probably like the 2006 game where Carroll won by a point.
When district realignment came out and those teams came up on the screens and the boards and the printouts, this is the game that everyone circled in this area when everyone was waiting over there at Birdville Fine Arts and Athletics Complex. This was for what everyone was pointing to and looking at was this game right here in this kind of District of Doom, SEC of North Texas, if you will. And I think it will be everything that it is was billed to be. I agree with, of course, your rundown of Trinity and their power games, their ability to control the line, control the pace of the games. But I think I want to go with Southlake in this one because I'm still not convinced. I think the one way, if you look back at some of Trinity's key losses through playoffs and through those different situations over the past couple of years, it's been teams that can move the ball around and really challenge their defensive secondary. I think that they are very, very strong up front in the defensive front, can shut down the run game, but if they can get in a rhythm and get balls down in the mid to deep range passing game, I think that'll really challenge their defensive secondary. And I think I have Southlake, again, in a really close one, like you say, but I have Southlake coming out in this one.
Well, yeah, because that's always the issue with Trinity. I guess not really an issue because they're always there third or fourth round, but can they throw the ball enough and not just in a play-action, bootleg kind of way? Tyler Naty is their quarterback this year. He was a fullback essentially last year. He's 6'1", 230 pounds, something in that range. And he's played well so far. He actually kind of opened it up last week against Bell. But can he give them some different looks, give that secondary some different looks, at least to get at least to prevent Carroll from stacking the box? Because I think no matter how outmatched you are on the offensive line as a defense with against Trinity, you could probably stack the box and at least stop them from a few times from getting a first down. And we've seen that several times with this Trinity team.
He has done a good job at quarterback, and we were talking about this earlier. And when is the last time that you've talked about a Trinity quarterback that could actually maybe throw the ball a little bit? And that might have been Brandon Carter. And he's been able to at least get the ball through the air a little bit, and that'll be huge because if Southlake can move the ball ball quickly and get on the board and get a couple scores up quickly early, it's hard for Trinity to come out of a hole because of their running game unless they can break off some really, really long runs.
I really think it's going to come down to Trinity's defense. That's what it was last year against DeSoto, and what they were able to get that one stop against Carroll last year. So.
Right. Well, let's go on to the other big game of the weekend, and that's Arlington Martin versus Arlington Bowie. Typically always the battle for that district, and it might be the case again this year.
You know, I don't want to dismiss this game as a gimme game for Martin, but I think Martin is clearly the better team this year. I think Bowie has had some close games against North Crowley, against Sam Houston. They lose to Lamar. They are just as athletic as they always are, and I think they're just as strong as a team as far as from a personnel standpoint, but they really need to tighten some things up, especially on defense. They're giving up too many yards, too many big plays, too many long drives, too many, really anything you could think of on defense, and Martin is just the prototypical team for taking advantage of that. They have the power run game. They have a quarterback in Eric Walker who's played much better this year as a junior. I think Martin gets the win by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
It surprised me always how up and down Bowie has been over the past couple seasons, just with the sheer quantity of Division I talent that they put on the field each year. And so I tend to think that it might be a little bit more up and down thing as opposed to actually talent and cohesiveness and just strength as a team. I definitely think Bowie will get up for this game, of course. It's probably for the district championship. It's Martin, it's the big rival, and so I'm interested to see how much of it is just getting up for the game and being prepared and ready to play the game, or how much of it is just one team is better than the other team. I'm going to go with you. I think Martin will win this game. I do think they're the better team. I'm just interested to see how much of a fight Bowie puts into it. I tend to think that they'll get up for this game and it'll be very, very close to the end, but Martin will pull out because they're just a little bit more polished around the edges as a cohesive unit as a team. So let's quickly, since we did a little extended time on that, we're going to run through these final picks real quick. We got DeSoto at South Grand Prairie.
DeSoto.
I've got DeSoto. Denton Ryan versus Keller Fossil Ridge.
Fossil Ridge.
I'm going to go with Denton Ryan in that one. Arlington Seguin versus Mansfield Summit.
Summit.
I'm going to go with Arlington Seguin in that. White Settlement Brewer at Saginaw Boswell.
I'm going to go with Brewer, upset.
I'm going to go with Boswell in that one. Trophy Club Nelson versus Justin Northwest.
Northwest, I finally get a district win.
I'm going to go with Nelson in that one. We're really getting different here. Other side of the Metroplex, West Mesquite at Rockwall Heath.
I'm going to go with West Mesquite.
I'm going to go with Rockwall Heath in that one. So we'll have a good slate of games this week that seem to be all across the board for us. But go out and check out one of those games. Check dfwvarsity.com for the best recaps and stats of those games. And we'll see you next week on the High School Huddle.